the teen who turned $100 into $5 million. Imagine being 17 years old with only $100 in your wallet. No rich parents, no powerful connections, no business experience. Just an old laptop, slow internet, and a strange feeling that life could be bigger than the small town you grew up in. This is a story of how one teenager turned his last $100 into millions of dollars. His name was Alex. Alex grew up in a quiet town where almost everyone lived the same life. People went to school, got normal jobs, worked for decades, and hoped to retire someday. There was nothing wrong with that life, but Alex always felt something was missing. From a young age, he was curious about money, not in a greedy way. He was fascinated by how some people built massive companies from nothing. At 15 years old, Alex discovered videos online about entrepreneurs and startups. Every night after finishing homework, he would sit on his bed with his laptop and watch people talk about business. He heard stories about teenagers building apps, people starting companies in garages, and ordinary workers becoming millionaires. At first, it felt impossible, but one idea kept appearing in almost every video he watched. Find a problem and solve it. The problem was that Alex had nothing to start with. No investors, no rich family, no money. By the time he turned 17, he had managed to save exactly $100 from small part-time jobs. That was all he had. Most teenagers would spend that money on clothes, games, or go out with friends. Alex almost did the same. But one afternoon, something changed. He was walking through town when he noticed something strange. Many local businesses looked successful in real life, but they barely existed online. Restaurants had no websites. Local stores didn't appear on Google. Barbershops had empty social media pages. In the modern world, that was a huge problem. If customers couldn't find your business online, they might never find you at all. That moment gave Alex an idea. What if he helped local businesses get online? The idea sounded simple. The problem was that Alex had absolutely no idea how to build websites. So he started learning. Every day after school, he watched tutorials, read guides, and experimented on his laptop. Sometimes he stayed awake until 3 in the morning trying to understand why something didn't work. His first website looked terrible. The colors were wrong. Buttons didn't work properly. Some pages didn't load at all. But slowly, things started improving. After about a month of learning, Alex felt confident enough to try something scary. He decided to offer his services to real businesses. One Saturday morning, he walked into a small pizza restaurant in town. His heart was beating fast. He had never sold anything in his life. The owner looked up from the counter and asked what he needed. Alex nervously explained that he could build a website for the restaurant so more people could find it online. The owner smiled politely, clearly not expecting much. But Alex opened his laptop and showed him a quick demo website he had created. The owner leaned closer to the screen. He looked surprised. Then he asked a simple question. How much would it cost? Alex had no business plan and no idea what websites normally cost. So he said the first number that came to mind, $200. The owner thought about it for a moment. Then he shrugged and said something Alex would remember forever. All right, kid, if you can build it in a week, I'll pay you. Alex walked out of that restaurant feeling like the world had just changed. But the next week was intense. He spent hours fixing problems, redesigning pages, and learning new things. Sometimes he thought he had made a huge mistake. But after several days of hard work, the website was finished. When Alex showed it to the restaurant owner, the man smiled. A few days later, Alex received his first payment, $200. It wasn't a fortune, but it proved something important. He had created something valuable, and someone was willing to pay for it. Even better, the restaurant owner recommended Alex to other businesses. Within a few months, he had built websites for several companies in town. But then Alex realized something important. Websites alone weren't enough. Businesses didn't just want websites. They wanted customers. So Alex started learning about digital marketing. He studied online advertising, social media promotion, and search engine optimization. Slowly, he began offering a new service. helping businesses attract customers online. At first, he charged small monthly fees. Then the results started speaking for themselves. Some businesses doubled their customers within months. Soon more companies wanted Alex's help. By the time he turned 20, Alex had dozens of clients. He was making more money than he had ever imagined as a teenager. But managing everything alone became impossible. So he hired his first employee, then another. Within a few years, Alex had built a small marketing agency. The company helped businesses across the country grow using online advertising. The revenue kept growing. What started as a small side project turned into a real company generating millions of dollars. Then something unexpected happened. One of Alex's biggest clients, a fast-growing restaurant chain, offered to buy his company. The number shocked him, several $1 million. Alex spent weeks thinking about the decision. Finally, he agreed. The teenager who once had only $100 in his wallet had become a millionaire. And the craziest part of the story? It all started with one simple choice. Instead of spending his last $100, he invested it in learning something new.